Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And yes, I have a wrist brace on, if you even noticed. I'm a hairstylist, so my wrist has been hurting. So yeah, I had COVID. I'm gonna just basically be explaining my experience, the symptoms that I had, and some of the long-term effects. I'll put the timestamps down below, and you can skip right to the parts that you want to see. So I just want to make a disclaimer that I did not get COVID in an unsafe way. I had it in the very beginning. I'm not going out and partying with my friends. I'm not saying like, oh my god, yeah, I had COVID. That's not a thing. I was really sick, so I'm just gonna get into it. I really wanted to just share my experience because obviously we're in a worldwide pandemic right now. We're in a worldwide pandemic right now, and I really just want to maybe help someone out there, make them feel like, you know, maybe if they had a rare symptom and I had a rare symptom, I know I have a weird long-term side effect, so I don't know if it's gonna help somebody or if it's just interesting. I find it very interesting knowing what people's symptoms were and how long they were sick for. I was sick for about 2 weeks, I would say, 10 days to 2 weeks, and my friend's mom was sick for over a month. She was positive with the coronavirus. So it's very different for everyone. So I'm just gonna start off with how I got COVID. So I'm not 100% sure of how I got COVID. It was in the very beginning. My salon closed, I wanna say either March 15th or 17th. And about a week later is when I started with my symptoms. I went to a grocery store and then I went to Whole Foods around me. And then 2 days later, I was like having the worst headaches of my life. Obviously very sick. Just thought I had a really bad sinus infection, but I had literally no mucus coming out, so that was my first symptom. I really don't think I got it from my salon, but I really could have, because in the beginning we obviously weren't wearing masks yet. We just had decided to close down. We thought it was only going to be a 2-week thing. Sorry, I keep looking down at my phone for notes. We thought it was going to be a 2-week thing. Clearly it was not. It's still going on, and yeah, so I went to the store. Didn't wear a mask or gloves or anything. I was probably, out of like 100 people in a store, there was probably 2 people wearing masks and gloves at the time. I'm not exaggerating. No one was wearing anything. No one really knew at that time what was right. They actually at one point, I don't know if you guys remember, but they told us, especially, I don't know if it was worldwide or just in New Jersey, but they told us not to buy masks and wear them because I think they wanted all the people, you know, every essential worker like in the hospitals to get them, and they didn't want us to like bulk buy masks and everything and then basically have them sold out so the hospitals can't get them, because obviously they need them more than we do, especially when we're in lockdown. They're not in lockdown, they're working every day. So yeah, so I didn't wear a mask or anything. So yeah, the first symptom was an insane headache, like horrible sinus infection times 10, but no mucus whatsoever, just like intense sinus pressure. It was awful. I sat with a rag on my head for like 3 days straight. I would just wake up, go to the couch, and just like lay there with like a warm rag on my head, and it was just awful. Honestly awful. I would lay with it all day, just laid out. I kept napping, I kept going to sleep. I was very tired, so lethargic. Another early symptom was after I went to the store that day. It was probably like either that night or the night after I made baked ziti for my boyfriend, and I had gotten this recipe from Pinterest and made it like a month or 2 before. So we've had this recipe before, we knew we liked it, so I made it again. And I made it right before he went to work, and I looked at him and I'm like, do you taste anything? Like, this tastes really bland to me. Like, I just kept eating it and I'm like, I taste like nothing. And he was like, yeah, honestly, it is kind of bland. And I don't know if he just didn't want to tell me or what, but I was like, babe, this is like weird. This is not right. And this is before the main signs were loss of taste and smell. The main signs around this point in late March, early April. Right now, this is in late March that I'm talking about. It was a dry cough and a fever. So we didn't think too much of it. I just thought maybe I was getting a cold and I just couldn't like taste really well. And I guess he kind of thought the same thing, because a week or 2 prior, before everything shut down, so probably like 2 weeks prior to this, he went to the doctor thinking he was sick, and they told him he had an upper respiratory infection. I'm thinking, obviously now it's COVID, and either he gave it to me or I could have gotten it from him, the grocery store, my job, whatever. You know, if you can't taste garlic and baked ziti and the sauce and everything, you clearly have COVID. Like, there's just, you can't not taste garlic. And I always put a ton. I'm Italian, we do that. The weird thing about me being sick in March, and I knew it wasn't the flu, was because I had a huge appetite. I think because I couldn't taste anything, I was just like trying to eat to satisfy myself because I wasn't like actually tasting it, you know? So I was just like eating the food and like feeling full but like not tasting it, so not being like fully satisfied or anything. That was very frustrating, to be honest. I was eating like, I would order like eggplant parm and spaghetti, and I mean I ate like a whole box of Cheez-Its probably in a day, or what. I had a huge appetite. And with the flu, I could barely eat a cracker or a little bit of broth. Like, obviously it wasn't the flu. I knew this was probably COVID, but I was really scared to just like admit it to myself. And I wasn't ashamed because I knew that so many people were getting it. It's not like I went out and got it from a party or I was being silly and like out with a bunch of people. I really just was, I went to the grocery store and I went to work, and then all of a sudden I had it. So I didn't do anything crazy, so I wasn't ashamed, but I was a little scared because I felt like my mom was definitely going to be freaking out thinking I had it because I have asthma, and obviously it affects your respiratory system, your lungs, everything. So it definitely did affect my lungs, but I'll get there in 1 minute. I want to say one more thing. Every night I was drenched in sweat. I would literally wake up 2, 3 in the morning drenched, literally just wake up and take a shower like as soon as I woke up for the day. And I never had a fever. Me and my boyfriend would check my temperature probably 2, 3 times a day. Never had a fever. It was never over like 98 or 99. And I don't even really know if it hit. I think it hit 99.0 once, and then the rest was like 90.6, 7, 8, like normal. So that was really bizarre. I never had a fever, but I had those huge sinus headaches, horrible. And then I didn't really have much of a cough. I'm an asthmatic, so I always have like some sort of cough, but it's usually just like when I have some tightness in my chest. And I'm not gonna lie, I had tightness in my chest. Like, I would wake up and feel like every single morning I would wake up and feel like I can't breathe. Like, I would feel like I have to be like to like take a deep breath, and then I couldn't like let out so much breath. I had to like take another breath and then like let out a little bit of breath and then take another one in, and like that's how I would get a deep breath. I would have to use my inhaler every single day, sometimes twice a day for the 2 weeks. And then that's actually a long-term effect that I'm going to talk about in a minute. Also, I feel like I had almost every symptom at least like one day. Like, I did have a tiny bit of cough, but it wasn't anything severe. Never did have like a high fever, like I said. But one day I was drinking Theraflu because I was still thinking like, even if it's not the flu, you know, I'll just take Theraflu and see if that helps me at all. Because they were telling you not to take Advil or like Tylenol or anything like that because, I don't know, they said it would like make it worse or something like that at the time. So I was deathly afraid to take Advil or anything like that. So I was taking the Theraflu, hoping that that would work. And then one night I took it at like 12, like it was like midnight. My boyfriend was sleeping. I went in the living room. I just like drank the Theraflu, and I'm wheezing right now. I'm okay though. I took the Theraflu and I immediately threw it up. And that was the only time I threw up, but I immediately threw it up. And then I don't remember exactly when this happened, but I did have diarrhea for probably like, I put on my notes like 2 to 3 days, but now that I'm thinking about it, it was more like 4 or 5 days. And it was like every 20 minutes I was in the bathroom for like hours, and then I'd be okay for a little while, and then I'd be right back in the bathroom again every 20 minutes, and then be okay again. I don't remember if I took like Pepto or like whatever that diarrhea medication is. I don't remember 100% if I took it or not, but I'm sure that would work for you. I don't think that's like the same thing, obviously not the same thing as Advil, so I think that's fine. I feel like I had more symptoms, but from the top of my head, that's really it. So I had, you know, diarrhea a couple days, threw up once, horrible headaches, felt like a sinus infection, coughed a little bit, no fever, insane appetite, which was so bizarre, and loss of taste. I really don't think I lost smell. I still can remember, I know my boyfriend literally could not smell bleach, and that was bad. But I feel like I always was able to smell, just not as much. Like, if I put my nose really up to something, like, and inhaled it, I was able to smell, but not just like, you know, something like, I wouldn't just get like a whiff of something. I'd have to like really inhale it to smell it. Oh, and I was super lethargic, didn't want to get up, had no motivation whatsoever. And yeah, I basically felt like I was so tired, as if I had the flu, when you just like need to lay down. And yeah. So I guess that's it for my symptoms. I don't know, I feel like I guess that's it. So my long-term side effects were basically, I still had trouble breathing for months. So since I had this in March, early April, late March, early April, think I went to the allergist in like July or August, like about 4 months. I still had trouble breathing, and like as I'm filming this right now, I'm wheezing a little bit. It has been really, really cold out, and for my asthma, that's never a good thing, so I don't think that really has anything to do with COVID. But I had to use my inhaler probably every day or every other day after having COVID, and that's just not normal for me. Usually I just have seasonal asthma, and then I use it once every couple of months, maybe once a month, if that. And so I was just like, all right, this is not normal. I never feel like this. I never feel like I constantly have to use my inhaler. So I went to the allergist, and he basically gave me this medicine. Hold on, I'm gonna go look for it. So this is my regular inhaler. It's albuterol, and that's like for seasonal asthma and everything. And then this is called Symbicort. So it looks like an inhaler, but it's like some kind of medicine. He thinks that the COVID basically triggered my asthma and just made it like 10 times worse. So you just take like 2 puffs of this, and I think he said to take it like once a day until I felt like I really didn't need it anymore. And I remember only using this like 3-4 days in a row, and then I went like a week without using anything, and that was the most I've gone since COVID. So I was like, oh my god, like my lungs are getting better. And now honestly, I probably use my inhaler like not even once a week, maybe once every week or once every 2 weeks, and that's so much better than it was obviously when after I had COVID. And lo and behold, my rare long-term side effect. I don't really hear anybody talking about this. I know probably 2 people who have said they, have this side effect. I have like a COVID smell. That might sound so weird and bizarre, but like, when you, obviously everyone gets body odor sometimes when you sweat or if you run, or everyone gets body odor every once in a while, and everyone knows their own scent. Mine just smells different to me, and it's not like a horrible smell. I honestly would probably I would rather smell my body odor, because I just know that like smelling my own body odor, like it's normal, and I'd rather just take smell that and take a shower rather than like smell this weird smell and be like, what the hell is wrong with me? But honestly, sometimes I think like, do I actually smell different, or is my smell just warped? So I went online, and it basically said that it's rare, but some people can have a warped sense of smell. So like, TMI, but me and my one boss said that our poop smells different, and I've had a couple of people actually tell me that. But not a lot of people with like the underarm, smell. Like it smells different. Like anytime I sweat a lot, whether I go on the treadmill or sometimes, you wake up in the morning, you sweat a little, you smell yourself a little bit. It always just smells so different to me. And the only way that I can like describe it, this is gonna sound so stupid, literally so stupid. Peach Snapple, it's like a peachy smell, but not in a good way. Like it doesn't smell like the Snapple, it just smells like the peaches. It's probably the closest thing to the smell that I could think of. Like I just don't know how to explain it. It just smells like a weird smell. But I mean, my boyfriend basically said that he thinks I smell like my normal smell. Obviously we've been together like 2.5 years. He knows how I smell at any point of the day, and he said that he can tell when I smell normal and when I smell like my COVID smell. And I'm like, oh, well, that's great. Like, I mean, at least he's honest. But, so that's the really weird symptom. It's just the COVID smell. And it says that, it just warps your sense of smell. So I think that since he thinks he had COVID as well, which I do too, I think that both of our smells are just warped, but it only happens every couple of months. Like I don't always smell like this. I noticed in the beginning I smelled like it, maybe around the summertime, and then now again, it's been like months since I've smelled the smell. I don't know how long it lasts. I think I've been smelling the smell on me for about 2 weeks, so I'll see how long it lasts. I really don't know how long the last time it lasted. I'm kind of scared because I'm wondering like, maybe I was in contact with COVID, like exposed, and maybe that's why it like smells again, but I just didn't get it. Like, I don't know. I don't know why it kind of comes and goes. I was with my cousin over the weekend, and she said that her friend actually has like basically the same thing. It's like a COVID smell, but it's not always there. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't know how to get rid of it. I just make sure I put extra deodorant and perfume on, and I just kind of go about my day. And then also the smell of certain foods and the taste of certain foods are different to me. Now, I'm a vegetarian and I have been for over 4 years now, but the smell of meat never made me nauseated until now. Like, or nauseated me, made me nauseous. You know what I'm trying to say. It never, like, made my stomach turn until now. Like, to be honest, meat still, like, would smell good to me. I just don't prefer to eat it, and I won't eat it because of my values and my views and morals and all of that stuff. A choice I made 4 years ago that I'm sticking to. But, you know, sometimes I would be like, oh, like, that smells good, and, like, whatever. Like, can't eat it, whatever. Like, just, you know, normal fact that it smells good. Now it's like repulsive to me. My mom was cooking a burger the one day and oh my god, I had to walk out of the room and like go upstairs and like not be around it because it smelled so bad to me. It just like makes me so nauseous. Maybe because I haven't had it in so long, it like triggered it. I really don't know, but oh my god, the smell is nauseating. And then I can't taste Lay's chips the same way. They still taste good, but it's just not the same. And I know they're not making them different. It really is just since COVID. Like, it's just, they don't taste the same. Ketchup tastes sweeter to me. You know, the regular Heinz ketchup that I get never tasted sweet to me. And now all of a sudden it's like just sweeter in taste. I can smell everything. I can taste most things. And some things are just like, they don't taste as strong as they used to. And I forgot to mention that I never got tested for COVID, and the reason being was because I was so sick and my boyfriend was still going to work because we weren't sure that I had COVID. We know for a little while we just thought we had, you know, I had the flu or something. He also thinks he had COVID like 2 weeks prior, and people were honestly still going to work. I don't even think the 14-day quarantine was a thing yet, so he was still going to work, and I think he was like wearing a mask or something like that, or gloves or something. I don't even remember. I would have to ask him, but he was still going to work and everything, so he couldn't take me, and I was not risking giving it to any of my family members or friends or anyone, so, or an Uber driver or anything. I would never. So I never got tested, and I never got tested for antibodies either, honestly, because I was just too scared to like actually face reality and just know that I had it. But honestly, antibodies apparently only last 90 days, which is 3 months. And I know my mom got tested for antibodies because she thinks she had it last in January. She got tested in like May or June and it said she didn't have them anymore. But I believe my entire family basically had it last year before I did. So yeah, I never got tested for coronavirus or the antibodies, but I lost taste and smell and had all those symptoms. There's just no freaking way that I didn't have COVID. Like, with this smell on my body now too, and like certain things just like tasting a little different, there's just no way I didn't have it. I mean, I didn't have the worst experience. It definitely was not pleasant at all. This is not pleasant. I just want everyone to understand the severity of it. It's literally killing so like millions of people, and so many people are getting sick. I know my friend's mom was in the hospital for a little while, and it's just terrible. You know, you go to the hospital and then you come home and then you don't feel that great, go back. Like, it's terrible. You don't want this. So please, everyone, just wear a mask. Wear gloves if you really want to, if you think that it's going to make you feel more safe and secure. Don't go out in large gatherings. You know, I really just have been seeing like my boyfriend. I see him like almost every day or every other day, whatever. And then I've been seeing 2 of my best friends, and I just know that they are safe and not around a billion people, and they never go out into parties and stuff like that. Obviously they don't live with me, so I could be safer and not see them at all, but I see them maybe once a week, and I know that we are protected. We're never like on top of each other, and if we are close to each other, we wear masks. Like my friend the other day, she was plucking my eyebrow, waxing my eyebrows and then plucking a little bit, and she was super close to me, so I put my mask on and she put her mask on. And like, we're not weird. Like, if we want to put a mask on, we feel safer, we gotta put a mask on, you know. So just take precaution, be safe out there. So yeah, that's it for the video. Those were my symptoms and long-term effects of COVID. Please, everyone, just stay safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.